In this episode, I go over my top 5 picks for New Comic Book Day coming out next week, March 30th, 2022. What is going on, everybody? Justin here, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. In this episode, I'm going over my top 5 picks for New Comic Book Day coming out next week, March 30th, 2022. Can't believe we're at the end of March already. This is just crazy. But yeah, as always, it is another great week for comics. There are so many new books coming out that I am excited for, super excited for. Like, I was tempted to extend the top 5 title to like a top 10 or something like that, but I'm gonna stick to the top 5 new comic book picks. But I of course have my honorable mentions. So we're gonna get into honorable mentions. We're gonna get into the top 5 picks for next week, and then of course I will do my cover buy of the week. But before we get into all that, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and a huge shout out to everybody in the premiere chat right now. This is premiering every Thursday, 12:30 Eastern. So appreciate everybody who's hanging with me, or if you're just watching this on your own time, I appreciate that as well. But let's get right into the honorable mentions first. And first up, I want to just really quickly highlight that there's a new Batman book coming out, and it's tied into the White Knight series that has been coming out by Sean Murphy here. So really, the reason it's not on my top 5 is I am not caught up with the White Knight series that Sean Murphy has done, and it's something that I've been wanting to dive into. I own them all now at this point. I just need to take some time to dive into them. I actually think I own most of the series on hardcover. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So I wanted to just mention that Batman Beyond the White Knight is coming out. That's going to be Sean Murphy with Dave Stewart. Another one I wanted as an honorable mention, just couldn't make the list, it's an X-Men book, X-Men Unlimited Latitude, issue number 1. I don't know much about where this is going. I believe that this is taking place after some of these Sword issues, or the Sword series that have been coming out. So I see that Wolverine's part of the title here, or part of the cover, and that's all I really know about it. Jonathan Hickman is writing. That was the other big thing. So Jonathan Hickman, I didn't realize. I knew Hickman is obviously, he's still working with Marvel and still writing with Marvel, and he was going to be working on a lot more bigger projects. So I'm excited to see his name attached to X-Men here. I was kind of surprised to see that, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to this, just not quite making the top 5, but definitely wanted to mention that. So that's X-Men Unlimited Latitude issue number 1. Another one I have to mention real quick, it's by Chip Zdarsky. It's New Burn issue number 5. I believe this will be 2 issues I'm behind now at this point, but New Burn's been really good as well. I think it might be better in trade, at least from, in my opinion, kind of how it's stringing out. So, but I am definitely enjoying that series as a whole. And yeah, we'll have to catch up so I can get into issue 5 here. And then let's see, we got 2 more that I want to mention here real quick. Immortal X-Men issue number 1. I mean, like, man, even going back and looking, like it I don't know how I couldn't get this into my top 5, but I couldn't get it into my top 5. But I definitely, it probably, shame on me, it probably should be in the top 5. Kieran Gillen is doing the writing for it, Lucas Wernick doing the artwork, and yeah, I'm really excited for it, as it's continuing on with kind of at least it talks about the Quiet Council, and I think it's a little bit more focused on the Sinister Secrets. So if you've been following along, you kind of have an idea of that. But that's one I wanted to mention. And lastly, I also had to mention Shadow War Part 1. This is part of it's kind of bringing together Batman, the Robin stuff with Damian Wayne, and a couple other, I think, story arcs that are going on. But Robin has been so fantastic. As I speak, the latest Robin issue just came out. I haven't read it yet, but diving into that, and from my understanding, it's going to be kind of a lead-in to this event. I don't know how many issues this is going to be, but they're calling, it's part 1 listed here. Shadow War Alpha, part 1. So really cool John Boyd cover there, and still written by Joshua Williamson. Victor Bogdanovic doing the artwork, the interior stuff. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. It was really close to my top 5. It's like I said, that and the X-Men title there, both right outside the top 5. So yeah, as I always say, like I have to mention, there are just some books I have to mention. Obviously, I've been reading way more than 5, so I had to figure out a way to kind of get that in there. But let's get into the top 5 here. And again, these are just top 5 books that I'm most excited for. If you're new, if you're curious kind of how I developed this list, it's just the books that I'm looking forward to reading most, whether they're stories I'm already continuing, or maybe they're issue number 1s that are just coming out that I'm excited for, whether it be because of the character or the creative team or so on and so forth. So I am going to put at my number 5 pick of the week, I have to go with The Swamp Thing, issue number 11 out of 16, and it is written by Ram V. I am so pumped for this because it's Ram V, and Swamp Thing has been fantastic. They took a little hiatus, and I think that's where the hype kind of died down again. But man, I'll tell you, the first 10 issues that Ram V has done with this series, I mean, I have fully been back into Swamp Thing. Or not been back, but really like given my time and effort into Swamp Thing because thanks to I was reading Swamp Thing by Alan Moore, and that kind of triggered me to jump into this stuff here. And Ram V, just a tremendous, fantastic writer, and loving everything he's been putting out recently. So that's what kind of got me into Swamp Thing to begin with, giving this a shot, this newer series. And so I'm really excited because it was supposed to only be 10 issues. They extended it now, so we're getting an extra, few issues here. I think it's going up to 16 now. So also, a wicked cover as we're looking here. Mike Perkins back on the artwork. I'm very excited for that as well. Not only the artwork, but the panel layout that they've done in this, that Mike Perkins has done in this, has been so beautiful. And it really holds to the Alan Moore vibes of like that era of Swamp Thing, and at least from what I've read, that first trade of that Alan Moore Swamp Thing. And yeah, so I'm really loving this series. Whether you're a Swamp Thing fan or not, this series is something that I think anybody could jump into because the Swamp Thing mantle is being taken over by a new character. So we as readers are learning this new character that's now taken over the Swamp Thing mantle. So it's a really cool kind of new direction. So we'll see where this goes, but I had to put it on my top 5 above some of those honorable mention lists that I had mentioned before. So that's my number 5 pick of the week, The Swamp Thing, issue number 11. So let's see, switching it up, going to Image for my number 4 pick. I have to go with A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance, issue number 6. I am so happy that this is like keeping up, just the balls rolling. The writer I should get into, Rick Remender, Andrea Lima Arajo, I think is how you pronounce it. They've just been such a great team. And actually Andrea's been like really cool, like to reach out to. I've reached out to him on Instagram before, and even Rick Remender has responded to some of my stuff before. So really down to earth creators, which I always appreciate. Rick Remender, I've just become such a big fan of, kicking it off with Black Science, and then just getting to some other things like Deadly Class and some other things like that. So A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance is right down my alley. And if you like Rick Remender writing, then I think it's right down your alley as well. And yeah, I can't say enough about this. It is a wild trip, I will say that, like still trying to figure certain things out, what's going on exactly. But we're starting to get some of the bigger picture stuff. I believe the first trade just came out. So if you had missed this and you haven't been reading, I recommend checking out the first trade. The first volume had just been released not too long ago. So this is kind of kicking off that second story arc. They listed here as a new story arc, but even the way the last one ended, it's still like really leaving you hanging with like kind of trying to collect the pieces and figure out what's going on. So a really great read, again, especially if you like Remender's style. Definitely recommend it. And so I'm very excited for issue number 6. So that is why it is my number 4 pick of the week. Going into my number 3 pick, got to shout out my man Sove Collector. If you're in the chat right now, if you're watching this, going to some Marvel here. Haven't mentioned Marvel yet for the top 5, but my number 3 pick goes to Ghost Rider issue number 2, who I was inspired by my man Sove Collector because he is a number 1 diehard fan of this character here. So I had to give it a shot, and I loved issue number 1. I don't know if you're reading Ghost Rider right now or not, but if you're not, I highly recommend checking out that first issue because it is so so wicked, and it is so well done in a way that anybody can get into it. It's very new reader friendly, and then at the same time throws some gems in there that I think, from what I've heard, some of the regulars or the diehard fans have appreciated as well, with some of the storylines and stuff that they've added. So the writer Benjamin Percy, I think that's another reason that for me it's pretty easy to want to give it a shot, because Benjamin Percy on all the Wolverine stuff that he's been doing has just been absolutely awesome. And it's very dark, and this series was, this first issue was super dark. And I didn't know like what I was getting into with Ghost Rider. I have not ever really read much other than maybe some of the Avengers stuff that he was in and things like that. But I've never really given Ghost Rider a shot, or a fair chance, I should say. And so I'm glad that I'm taking the time to jump into this now, dive into the wickedness that comes with it. And like I said, it's very early. It's only issue 2. So if you missed issue 1, go back, check it out. The artwork too, I should note, Corey Smith doing the artwork here. So yeah, looking forward to that. The cover that we're looking at right now is actually done by Cale New, I think is how you pronounce it, NGU. But he's been awesome in general. I know he does a lot of variants and things like that. So it's cool to see that he's doing a cover A. So very cool there. And yeah, there's a couple of variants as well. So Ghost Rider, whether you've read the character or not, if you're familiar with the character or not, I think this is a great jumping in point. Check out issue 1, get ready for issue 2. I'm buckled up, ready to go. So that is going to be my number 3 pick of the week, Ghost Rider issue number 2 by Marvel Comics. And we're moving and grooving. I'm going to jump into number 2, and it's going back to DC now. I got to go with DC versus Vampires, and hear me out, because I admit, like, I judged this series before I read the series. Like, seeing this first coming out, I thought the name was ridiculous. I didn't think I'd ever be a fan of, like, the zombie-esque type storylines or series that have come out. I know that, Marvel, the Marvel Zombie series was a thing. I'd actually just recently read Tom Taylor's Deceased, which and I'm saying, like, I just read it like a week and a half ago, and I loved it. And so, but even so, before that, when this was first coming out, obviously this is issue 6 now. So about 6 months ago, like, seeing this come out for the first time, I was like very skeptical. Didn't think I was into that kind of genre, taking these superheroes that are already known and kind of crafting them into these other stories, these standalone stories. But one of the big things that got my attention was that it's written by James Tynion, and James Tynion is one of my favorite writers right now. Everything he puts out is just fire. So I had to I had to dive into it to begin with, and that's where I got hooked. After issue 1, I was just completely into it. I love every moment of this series, and I recommend it. I highly recommend it. Whether you're into this type of storytelling or not, I think it's worth giving it a shot. Especially if you've never read this style before, with zombies and mixing in with well-known built characters already. I can't say enough about this series. I was very surprised. I was talking to Victoria, Read Across the Stars. She had said the same thing, and it's not the same. I should clarify, it is not the same as Tom Taylor's Deceased. There's definitely a lot of differences involved, and so I use that example, but it definitely has it stands on its own, I should say. So definitely something to check out. We're halfway through. This is issue 6 of 12, so I'm excited that this is going to continue to go. We get another 6 issues after this. So and also we got my girl Barbara Gordon on the front cover, although I see some fangs, I see some blood. Is that her? Is that not? I don't know. That's what's crazy about this series. It's like you don't know who is a vampire and who is legit themselves, and it's like good guys and bad guys. Nobody's safe, kind of thing. So it's cool to like figure this whole mystery out, and a lot of violence, a lot of great humor though along the way as well. And just overall really appreciating it. So I should also note that Otto Schmidt has been doing the artwork for that, as well as his cover art. And actually this cover art here is very close to being, or was close to being, my cover pick of the week. I really enjoy this this art. And it's probably going to be one of my physical buys that I do for this week. But anyways, that is going to be my number 2 pick of the week, DC versus Vampires issue number 6. And we're doing good here. We're like 15 minutes in here. I think I'm moving and grooving. I have one more book I want to get to, and then I want to do my cover buy of the week. But before I get into that, don't go away. A couple extra things I want to add in here. First of all, smash that like button if you haven't already. Secondly, I want to just mention that I have Comic Collector Origins. It's back again this Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern. If you're not familiar with the show, it's all about the community. It's where I bring on guests and I interview them about how they got into this amazing hobby. This week, I'm going to be interviewing my good friend Q, aka J Rails. 247 over on Instagram. She also has a YouTube channel. I'm very excited to have her on. I love her energy. If you do not follow her, definitely check her out. I'll put her information in the description below. And swing by Saturday if you want to hear the details and learn a little bit more about Q and her background on getting into this amazing hobby and community. Cannot wait for that. So that's 2 o'clock Eastern this Saturday. Yeah, we're just going to keep rolling with that. So all right, gang, hold on one second here. I'm going to pause the video for a second and jump into this because I wanted to try something new. I wanted to include it here. I'm going to ask a question, this or that, and I want you to leave the answer in the comment section below. Let me know. I'm going to bring it up next episode. I'll bring it up towards the beginning and see what the results are. So just something to toy around with. I'm curious to see where people stand with this. But my this or that for you for this week is who is your favorite writer right now between these two? Either James Tynion IV or Ram V. Let me know in the comment section below who is your favorite writer currently, James Tynion IV or Ram V, and we'll talk about that next week. And I'll have another question for you, and we'll see how this goes. But just wanted to cut myself off to chime in and ask that question. So let me know in the comment section below, and I'll let this video play. A lot of things in the works still. Keep an eye out for all that. But let's get into my number one pick. My number one pick for this week, coming out for next week, I should say, for my top 5 picks, has to go to Dark Ages, issue number 6. I think it's pretty obvious because, well, one, it's just been a tremendous series. I've loved every single issue. It's been so epic. It's like a movie. It feels like it's like a film. It's like a Marvel film, the way it's been. And especially the vibes that I got from this book, even just from reading issue 1, was very much the same vibes that I felt when I was leaving the theaters after watching Infinity War. In the MCU, and just kind of that vibe of like all the bad guy, or all the good guys losing essentially, and being in a situation where it doesn't look good. It's looking grim for our heroes, and seeing them in what is called the Dark Ages, right? And seeing who survives and kind of who can come back and save the world essentially from the Dark Ages that have now been created. So a lot of twists and turns, a lot of amazing characters, both heroes and villains that are involved. Some villains are working with heroes, and some heroes have gone to the dark side for one reason or another. So it has been wild, and I'm just so excited because this is the final issue. And of course, like, it's Tom Taylor doing the writing. The guy has my heart. I mean, everything he does, I'm all in. I'm all in on Tom Taylor and his writing. His work has been just fantastic. I want to go back and read older stuff that he's done. But he's just killing it. He's absolutely killing it. Iban Coelho doing the artwork, I should note as well. Iban's been fantastic. I believe he did this cover here as well that we're looking at. So yeah, just really epic stuff. All those characters you see on this front cover, like, it's wild. It is a wild thing, and it's been building up now. So I'm very curious to see how they're going to close this out. Yeah, fingers crossed that it blows me away. I'm high hopes for this. I'm really looking forward to this. So that's my number one pick. I had to go with. So give it up for Marvel. Had a couple Marvel books here. I've been trying to balance my way through with these top 5s, and last week was like all DC. So nice to see some Marvel books up here, and especially at number 1. And I had number 1 Marvel last week too. So got to show some love, and very excited for this. So that is my number 1 pick of the week, Dark Ages issue number 6. But don't go away yet. I also want to talk about my my cover buy of the week. And of course, this is a book that, regardless of whether I'm reading it or not, I'm buying this cover because I want it in my collection. I want it in my PC. I'm just in love with the artwork. And hey, if it's a book I'm reading, that's even better. And I realized that my cover buy of the week should have also been a honorable mention of the week. And I did not, or I forgot to add that in as my honorable mention. But I'm going to go as my cover of the week. Something is Killing the Children, issue number 21. It is back on the shelves after taking a little bit of time off, right? James Tynion taking a little bit of time off, a little bit of a hiatus. And I'll admit I'm a little behind on Something is Killing the Children. I've read the first 2 trades. I love them, and I just haven't had a chance to jump back in that 3rd volume yet. But yeah, I'm really excited to see that this is back. And even though I'm not fully caught up, I love this cover. I don't know, something about it. Erica Slaughter, she's just a badass. Like, seeing her walking this, down the street or desert, whatever this, oh yeah, I guess it's like down the street with the desert in the background. It is stunning. And I love the characters so much. Like, Erica's just, yeah, she's a badass. So really, really dope stuff. The cover art, the cover art is actually by Werther Del Adera, and then there's variant covers and things like that. There's actually a ton, of course, there's a ton of variants. So yeah, I had to throw this in as my cover buy of the week. I am going to own this book regardless of whether I continue reading something is killing the children or not. But I already know. I mean, I've been really enjoying those first 2 trades. Just were fantastic. So just got to catch up. I'll probably binge that. I do feel like this is a series that reads better in trade overall. So it may be something I approach kind of like Saga, where like I might wait for trades to come out, that type of thing. But we'll see. Either way, James Tynion, I mean, gotta love him, and this artwork's just fantastic. So really good stuff there. Werther Del Adera. Yeah, so that's my cover pick of the week. Let me know in the comment section below, what is your cover buy of the week? Do you have a cover buy of the week? Will you be buying this Something's Killing the Children cover? And if not, let me know what yours is. Either way, I appreciate it. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Everybody in the Premiere chat, thank you as well. Make sure you smash that like button on the way out. And until next time, I will talk to you later.